You've been in the organization for 12 years. You started as a lookout, now you're a plaza boss. You have 50 men under your command, 3 safe houses, and more power than you ever dreamed of. Everything works because above you is him, the boss, the patron, the man whose name makes cops tremble and politicians look down. As long as he's alive, you're protected. You're untouchable. You're part of an empire. Until one Tuesday at 6:47 a.m., your phone explodes with messages. The boss fell. 3 words that change everything. At first, you think it's a lie. Government propaganda. Fake news to destabilize. You've heard those rumors before. But then the photos arrive, then the videos, then the official confirmation. Your boss, the man who controlled 5 states for 2 decades, is dead. Military operation in the mountains. Helicopters. Drones. 300 special forces elements. His armored convoy was useless against the missiles. His legend of invincibility just evaporated in smoke and shrapnel. The first thing you feel is panic. Pure animal panic. Because you understand something that normal people don't understand. In the narco world, stability is a mirage sustained by a single person. That person just died. Now everything is chaos. Your phone won't stop ringing. Your subordinates ask what to do. Your superiors are in absolute silence. That silence is worse than any order. It means nobody knows what the fuck is happening. You summon your closest men. They meet at the main safe house. Everyone has the same look. Predators who just discovered the pack's alpha died. You try to project calm. Nothing changes, you say. Here, we keep operating normally. But everyone knows it's a lie. Everything just changed. The question isn't whether there will be war. The question is when it starts. The first 48 hours are organized confusion. The organization's official messages are vague. We will continue operating normally. Leadership is secured. But you know how to read between the lines. You know that up top they're fighting for the throne. The boss's oldest son wants to take control. But he's 28 years old and has never led a real operation. The old-timers in the organization, those who've been at this for 30 years, don't respect him. There's the compadre, second in command, who has the experience but not the family legitimacy. There's the nephew who controls half the production but is a psychopath nobody wants as boss. Why, and there are the regional commanders like you, each one calculating their options. You receive the first call from the compadre. Calm voice, almost paternal. I need to know you're with me. It's not a question, it's a test. You tell him yes, obviously. The boss would have wanted us to maintain unity, he says. You hang up, and 2 hours later, the boss's son calls you. Same conversation, different words. You also tell him yes. That's how it starts. You promise loyalty to everyone because you still don't know who's going to win. It's like betting on roulette, except if you choose wrong, you don't lose money. You lose your head, literally. The business gets complicated immediately. Plaza payments are delayed. Nobody knows who to pay. The partners in Colombia are nervous. They need guarantees that the routes are still operational. The distributors in the United States want to know who's in charge. The politicians who were on the boss's payroll start distancing themselves. That senator who always answered your calls now sends you to voicemail. That state police commander who used to warn you about operations now says he's in a delicate situation and needs to keep a low profile. All the arrangements that took years to build are crumbling in days. The first betrayal comes within 72 hours. The plaza boss from the northern zone, someone you've known for years, flips, makes a deal with the rival cartel, hands over 2 warehouses and 3 routes in exchange for protection. They find out because one of his lieutenants rats him out. The order comes from above, make an example of him. You don't give the order, but you don't stop it either. They find his body 3 days later in a drum of acid. The message is clear. In times of crisis, betrayal is punished 3 times harder. Your zone is calm for now, but you hear what's happening elsewhere. In the neighboring state, the kidnapping's already started. The commander there bet on the wrong side. They grabbed him with his whole family, wife, 2 kids, even the mother-in-law. Nobody's seen them again. On the coast, it's worse. Two factions are openly fighting. Shootouts in broad daylight, checkpoints, public executions. The federal government sends more troops, but that only complicates things. Now you're not just fighting other narcos, you're also dodging the army that's taking advantage of the chaos to conduct raids. Your paranoia reaches absurd levels. You change houses every 3 days. You no longer sleep more than 4 hours. Always with one eye open. Always with your gun within reach. You fire half your bodyguards because you no longer know who to trust. The ones who remain, you set to watch each other. You have 3 different drivers who don't know each other. You never announce where you're going until 5 minutes before leaving. You've seen enough kidnappings to know they always start the same way. Someone close sells you out. The money gets complicated. Before, everything flowed. Now, every transaction is a negotiation. Shipments from the south are delayed because producers don't trust. They want payment up front. They want guarantees. You can't give them any because you yourself don't have guarantees. Your street dealers in the city are scared. Half want out. It's too hot, they say. You explain that getting out isn't an option. That the only retirement in this business comes in a wooden box. Some understand, others disappear in the night, and you never see them again. 2 weeks pass, and you have to choose. The compadre controls the north. The son controls the west. The nephew controls the south. Your plaza is right in the middle. Your disputed territory. All 3 want you on their side. All 3 subtly threaten you if you don't choose correctly. You run cold numbers. The compadre has experience, but he's old. 62 years in a business where most don't make it to 40. The son has the last name, but not the respect. The old wolves aren't going to follow a pup. The nephew has the character, but he's crazy. He executes people for fun. If he wins, he'll eventually execute you too, just because he can. You choose the compadre, not because you trust him. Do it because it's the safest bet in the short term. And right now, the short term is all that exists. You send him a message. You gather your men. We're with the compadre, you announce. 15 of your 50 men stand up and leave. They don't say anything. They just leave. You know some will join the son, others the nephew. 1 or 2 will probably go straight to the government to make a deal. That's how an empire fragments, 50 men at a time. The first loyalty test comes fast. The compadre orders you to attack a plaza controlled by the son. It's on the border, strategic. He needs to demonstrate strength. He needs others to see he can protect and expand territory. You plan the operation with nausea in your stomach. These are guys you worked with last year. You know their commander. You shared beers at a mutual friend's wedding. Now you have to kill him because alliances changed 2 weeks ago. The operation is a disaster. You arrive with 20 trucks. You expected light resistance, but the sun sent reinforcements. They're waiting for you. The shootout lasts 3 hours. You lose 8 men. They lose 12. You win the plaza, but it feels like defeat. Your boys' bodies come back in pickup trucks. You have to talk to the families. You have to give them money and tell them their sons died with honor. But there's no honor here. Only chaos. Only stupid violence over pieces of territory you might not control in a month. The government takes advantage of the chaos. They launch operations in zones that were previously untouchable. Labs fall, warehouses fall, regional commanders fall. Each fall weakens the organization more. Each fall is territory someone else will claim. You start to see movement from rival cartels. They're testing, sending people to zones that used to be yours. Small incursions. Street dealers who used to pay you protection money now pay them. You have to respond with violence or you lose everything. But every violent action brings more heat from the government. Your family is in danger. You know it. You sent your wife and kids to Mexico City with fake identities. You gave them money and told them not to answer your call for a month. Your mom doesn't understand why you don't visit her. She can't know that visiting her is marking her. In this business, family is weakness. It's leverage. They've already grabbed a rival commander's sister. They used her to negotiate. Then they killed her anyway. You're not going to let that happen to your family. 6 weeks pass. The original organization no longer exists. Now it's 3 different cartels fighting over the same name. The compadre controls the north but is losing plazas in the east. The son controls less territory but has more violence, more spectacle. He hangs bodies on bridges, leaves messages, tries to project strength he doesn't have. The nephew is the most savage. He doesn't care about politics. He just advances with pure violence. He's gaining territory because nobody wants to fight someone so crazy. You receive an offer from the rival cartel. It's tempting. They offer to let you keep your plaza, same business, new bosses. They even offer you a raise, 30% more in profits. You consider it for 2 minutes. Then you remember what happened to the commander who flipped a month ago. You remember the acid drum. If you switch sides and they lose, you die horribly. If you switch sides and they win, you'll always be the traitor. They'll never trust you. Eventually, they'll eliminate you preventively. There's no winning move, only moves that kill you slower. Your best friend in the organization disappears. You've known him since you were kids. You grew up in the same neighborhood. You entered the business together. He was a plaza boss 3 states north. He stops answering calls on a Tuesday. Thursday, they find his burned truck with 3 bodies inside. None of them is him. Saturday, a video appears. He's kneeling, beaten, confessing he was working for the government. It's a lie, obviously, but they needed justification to kill him. The video ends like they all end. You don't sleep for 3 days after watching it. Not because you're weak, because you know tomorrow that video could be yours. The compadre summons you to a meeting. It's at a ranch in the mountains. You arrive with 15 men. There are 5 other commanders, all with the same face of exhaustion and paranoia. The compadre explains the situation. They're losing. The other factions are more aggressive. The government is pressing. They need to consolidate. They need to eliminate the son and the nephew. They need to become one again. But becoming one again requires blood. A lot of blood. You're assigned a target. The son's second in command. It's your mission to eliminate him. It's not personal, they tell you. It's strategy. You kill the lieutenants until the boss is isolated. Now you plan the operation knowing it's a trap. If you succeed, you weaken the son, but you also expose yourself. If you fail, you probably die. If you refuse, you definitely die. So, you accept. Because accepting gives you 1 more week of life, and a week is an eternity in this new world. The operation half works. You kill the target, but lose 12 men in the process. The retaliation comes within 48 hours. They attack 2 of your warehouses. They kill 6 of your street dealers. They leave a message. Keep it up and your family is next. It's a bluff. Probably, but you can't risk it. You send more money to your family. You tell them not to go out. You hire more private security to watch them from afar. Every peso you spend on protection is a peso you're not earning. See, the business that was incredibly lucrative now barely pays to keep you alive. 3 months after the boss's fall, you control half the territory you had before. Your plaza has shrunk. Your income dropped 60%. Your men are demoralized. You've lost 22 elements in confrontations. 5 more deserted. 3 are in prison. 2 are cooperating with the government in exchange for reduced sentences. They're probably talking about you right now. There's probably an arrest warrant with your name. Your photo is probably on a board in some federal office. You hear the compadre is negotiating. Negotiating with whom? Nobody knows. Maybe with the government. Maybe with the rival cartel. Maybe with both. At this point, it doesn't matter anymore. The original organization is dead. What remains are mercenaries in the same uniform pretending there's still a cause. There isn't. There's only survival. Only desperate men clinging to pieces of a crumbling empire. You seriously consider your options. You can keep fighting. You can try to take more territory, but every day is harder, more dangerous, less profitable. You can flip to the rival cartel, but that's deferred suicide. You can negotiate with the government, witness protection, new identity, but that means betraying everyone. It means living the rest of your life looking over your shoulder. It means your kids will grow up wondering why they changed their name, why they can never visit grandma, why dad has nightmares every night. Or you can do what many are doing, simply disappear. You take the money you saved. It's not much after all the expenses. Maybe $2 million. You cross the border. You get lost in some American city. You work construction or in a restaurant. You live anonymous and bored. Safe but insignificant. From plaza boss to illegal immigrant in 3 months. The fall is so fast it makes you dizzy. One night, you're in the safe house watching the news. They report another shootout, another operation, another fallen commander. The news no longer uses your organization's name. Now they talk about criminal cells and fragmented groups. The brand that took 20 years to build evaporated in 3 months. The name that made states tremble is now just history. A footnote in the endless war on drugs. You receive an encrypted message. It's from the boss's son. He wants to meet. He wants to unify efforts. You know it's a trap. Either he wants you on his side and plans to kill you later, or he wants you dead now and the meeting is the ambush. There's no third option. You respond yes, that you'll go, but you have no intention of going. You simply need time to plan your exit. That night, you pack the emergency backpack you always had ready. $150,000 in cash, 2 fake passports, prepaid cards, a gun, contact numbers for coyotes and freelance sicarios. That's all that's left of 12 years in the business. $150,000 and a backpack. The rest was taken by chaos, taken by war, taken by the stupid belief that this would last forever. You look out the safe house window. Outside, the city continues its normal rhythm. Normal people with normal lives. They go to work. They pick up their kids from school. They complain about traffic. They don't know that 5 kilometers away there are armed men planning massacres. They don't know there are mass graves with hundreds of bodies. They don't know their governor is on the payroll. They don't know their tranquility is fiction sustained by arrangements between criminals. You think about the dead boss, about how he died believing he was invincible, about how he built something that crumbled before his body got cold, about how everyone who depended on him is now dying or fleeing, about how his empire wasn't an empire. It was a house of cards, and when the top card fell, everything came down. You realize something obvious you always knew but never accepted. In the narco world, there are no dynasties. There are no legacies. There's only temporary violence contained by strong personalities. Well, when that personality dies, the violence is released. Everything that was built gets destroyed. Territories fragment. Alliances break. Men kill each other over crumbs of what was. You make a decision. Tomorrow, you leave. You leave everything. The plaza, the men, the business, the name. You cross the border and disappear. Maybe they'll find you. They'll probably find you. But at least you tried. At least you didn't stay waiting for chaos to come to your door. You turn off your phone for the last time. The phone that was your connection to power. That was your control tool. That was your chain. You break it into small pieces and throw the pieces in different trash cans. You burn documents. You erase files. You eliminate evidence that you existed in this world. At dawn, you leave the safe house for the last time. Your bodyguards look at you confused. You tell them you'll be back in 2 hours. It's a lie. You never come back. You leave them with a month's prepaid salary and the instruction to disperse. Some will probably die next week. Others will find work with another faction. That's how it works. Loyalty lasts until the money runs out. You drive toward the border with the backpack in the passenger seat and a gun in your lap. Every checkpoint is pure tension. Every patrol is potential danger. But you make it. You cross. On the other side, in Texas, you become nobody. You're no longer a plaza boss. You're no longer an operator. You're no longer a narco legend. You're just another undocumented wetback with a past you can't tell. This is what it feels like when your cartel boss falls. It feels like the floor disappearing beneath your feet. It feels like waking up and discovering everything you built was borrowed. It feels like betrayal, panic, violence, and chaos compressed into endless weeks where every day could be the last. It feels like the end of the world that only you can see while the rest of the world keeps spinning indifferently. And the worst part isn't the violence. It's not the danger. It's the speed. It's how fast everything crumbles. It's discovering the empire was smoke, that the power was illusion, that the protection was temporary. It's understanding that in this business, everyone dies or flees. There's no pension. There's no golden retirement. There's only violent ending or anonymous ending. And if you're lucky, if you're very lucky, you manage to choose which one.